Hello, good day, everyone. Today we'll be discussing about the concept of pointers. So, what is pointers? A pointer is a variable that holds the memory address of another variable. A pointer is a variable that holds the memory address of another variable. Since it's holding the memory address of another variable, we say the pointer is pointing to that address or pointing to that variable, or the pointer is referencing that address. Now, we talked about the concept of variable earlier on. We said variable is a space reserved in the computer memory. And variable declaration, whenever we declare a variable, it associates three fundamental attributes to that location. The variable declaration associates the name of the variable, the data type of the variable, and an address. So if we have a space in our computer memory, this is done using variable declaration. Let's say int age. This variable declaration, right? So we can also do initialization. That is to say, immediately we can also assign a value. So what are we doing? What we are doing is we are creating a space in the computer memory. We are reserving a space. That space has a name called age. The size of that space is determined by the operating system, and the size is determined by the data type, which is int, right? That variable name also has what we call an address. The particular location it resides on the computer memory. So let's just say the address is 123 on the computer memory. That's the address. Then, because we've also done initialization, then in that space, in that location, the value there is what? Is 10. Good. So the name of that location is called the variable name. The content or the content that is stored in that location is the value. Now, in this regard, the value is what? The value is 10. And the address is the reference or the location in the memory where you can find this variable. It's just like we all live in a particular house. That house can be found on a street. That house has an address where we can be found, right? So now going back to the concept of pointer. So a pointer is also a variable. Let me call my pointer PTR. Is also a variable whose value is the address of another variable. So assuming I created a pointer and it's pointing to this age, now the value of pointer is the address of where it's pointing to. So it's pointing to age, then the value is what? Is an address. The tree. The pointer, because it's also a variable, it has a value. So we can say it has an address. So we can say the pointer is to what? Let's imagine the pointer address. So how do I create a pointer? The pointer must also have the same data type with where it's pointing to. Okay, so how do I create a pointer? The data type followed by the asterisk, just to indicate it's a pointer, followed by the pointer's name. So that's how I create a pointer. But how do I map the address to it? So I now map where it's pointing to with the address operator, followed by what? The name of the variable is pointing to. Okay, so let's practicalize. So if I have a variable called age and age has a value of 10, right? So we've created the variable a location called age and it's of the data type int. The value in age is what? Is 10. So we can actually see out or display the value of age. The value of age is what? Age. So I can do this. The value of age is what? Age. So let's display the content of age. So it's compiling, and if it's successful, we'll be able to see the value of age is what? The value of age is 10. Good. Now, let me explain how you can find the address. How do you find the address? So let me try copying this, the address of age, so that we can know where it actually resides. So the address of age is, so for you to find the address, you use the ampersand sign. No, the ampersand sign. So this is the address, the location where age resides in the memory. So we are referencing the location. You can see the location where age resides. Now, let me take a step further. If I have an address of age, what can I do with the address of age? So I can say the value of age is using the address now. Using the address, let me say I have the address of age. I have the address of age, right? Let me say I have the address of age. I'm referencing that location. I have the address of age. How do I get the value in age if I have the address? I'll just use the indirection operator to say, okay, give me the content of this address. I will use what? The indirection operator. So I have the address of age. It's still the same as saying, give me the content of age, right? So here I'm referencing age, then using the asterisk to what? To dereference age. So let's see if it works. So we're still talking about the concept of, you can see the value of age is what? The value of age is 10. Good. Right. Now, let's go to the concept of a pointer. So how do we create a pointer? We also create a pointer is synonymous to the way we create a variable. But the difference, let's say pointer 1, how do you create it? Is just like the way you create a variable, but you have to use what? An asterisk, just to differentiate that this is a pointer. So we've created a pointer, right? So we can actually come down and say, oh, PTR1 is mapped to what? To the address of age. We can actually do this. So the first line here is we created a pointer, but the pointer is not having a value. It has no initialization. So now the value of a pointer is the address of age, right? So in a single line, I can also do this. I can also do this in a single line that yes, as I'm creating the pointer, I'm also assigning a value to it. So let's look at the value of a pointer. So the value of a pointer will be what? The value, the value of that pointer of, let me say pointer PTTR1 is, so let's say PTR1. The value of the pointer will now be the address. So let's run it. you will see the address of age and the pointer being the same. Okay, you can see the address of age is this, where the value of the pointer is what? Is also that. Good. Now, with the pointer, if I'm having the address, what can I do with the address? It means I can actually dereference. Now, the pointer is referencing to age, is pointing to age as the address of age. With it, I can actually get, or I can actually write to that location called age, right? Now, imagine you are in a bookshop or you are in a store, supermarket store. You want a particular uh, good. So if you want a particular good, you point to that good. As you're pointing, you are referencing it. So as you're pointing, you can actually pick up the goods from the shelf or replace it with another good or return it, right? So what we're trying to say is, okay, you can actually reference an address. You pointing to that goods that you want on the bookshelf is you are actually referencing it, right? So when you take the value out or you reassign, then you are what? Dereferencing. Are we good? So pointer, you can be pointing to a good, and when you are done, you can actually point to another good. So a pointer can actually change the address of where it is pointing to. That's why a pointer is also a variable, except you make it a constant pointer where you cannot change what? The address, the value, right? So what can we do? Let me get the value of age. Let me copy the value of age using, let me say, using pointer is what? So let me dereference PTR1. So what do? You dereference. So what we've done here is actually looking at it. Now, pointer actually has the address of age, right? The pointer has the address of age. This is pointer naturally. Now, we are now dereferencing using what? The asterisk. So it's still back to what we did. So the pointer actually, the value of a pointer is the address of age. Yes. Then we now say, okay, get me what is, write out the value in that location, right? Write out the value in that location. How do we write it out? Or how do we reference it? Using the asterisk operator. Here we are referencing that location. Here we are dereferencing that location, right? So we are getting the value out of the pointer. Okay, let's see if the value, let me do this. So that we can see the separation. All right, the value of age using the pointer. You can see the value of age using the pointer is what? Is 1010. Is 1010. Yeah, good, good. Now, since I'm pointing to age, what can I do with age? I can change the value of age using the pointer. So how do I do that? I'll say where the pointer 1 is pointing to, assign, change it to 100. So I can come here and now display the value of age. You will see that the value of age has changed. So what am I doing? I'm saying here where the pointer is pointing to, where PTR is pointing to, then change the value. Are we good? So let's run it. So we can see that the value of age now is what? Is 100. So you can do read or write using what? Using the pointer. Are we good? All right. So just imagine I have a second variable called h2, h2, and the value in h2 is 500. The value in h2 is 500. Before, my pointer is pointing to age, then I can come here and say, okay, PTR1 should now point to what? Should now point to the address of what? H2. So where the pointer is pointing to has now differ. Then I can come and display. I can come here and display the value in H2. The value of pointer 1 should be this, and the value of H2 using the pointer should be what? Should be this. So let's see. So the pointer was pointing to H1 before. Now it's now pointing to H2. Why? Is a variable. A pointer is also a variable. So where it's pointing to can actually change. Are we good? All right. So let's see. Now look at it. The address it's pointing to has changed. Right? Look at the memory address. H was 0135FD558. But now it's pointing to another address 0135FD4C. Right? Now the value of H2 using the pointer is what? Is 500. Yes, it's referencing what? The second H2. So that is the concept of a pointer. A pointer can help you track location, track location. So in data structures, advanced data structure, when you're looking at your stack, your linked list, and the rest, your pointer is very good in that aspect. There are also other functions of pointers helping you to return more than one value from a function. So we would look at that in subsequent videos. So let me take a look at, let me still go advance a bit. Let me still go advance a bit. Now, if you have a pointer, let me clear my board, right? So if you have a pointer, can you have a pointer to a pointer? Yes, it's possible to have what? A pointer to a pointer. So how do you create a pointer to a pointer? So imagine, so you use the double asterisk. So a pointer to pointer 1. So should is now referencing what? With pointer 1. Is referencing pointer 1. So now imagine we want to display the address of pointer 1. The address, let me display the address of pointer 1. The address of pointer 1 is pointer 1. Good. Now the value of pointer to pointer 1 is pointer to pointer 1, right? So let's see. So I'm having a pointer to a pointer. Can you see? So the address of pointer 1 is this, and the value of pointer to pointer 1 is what? Is this. So pointer to, so with this pointer to a pointer, I can actually change what age is. So this is what I'm having. I'm having age. And so I'm having pointer 1. I'm also having the second higher level pointer. So I have pointer, so pointer 1. So pointer 1 is pointing to H. Pointer, so let's say now finally pointer 1 is pointing to H2. So now we are having another level pointer. So this pointer is, the data type is this, right? This is int. So the data type is int star. Good, good. All right. So if this value is 500, I can change the value of A2 using pointer 1. I can also change the value of H2 using pointer to what? Pointer. So let's see how we do that. So this is how we do that. I can come here and say, okay, where the pointer is pointing up, the location where the pointer of pointers is pointing to, the value should be changed to, let's say 255. So what does that mean? Let's first of all demystify the statement. Now, pointer, this pointer has an address as this. So the value, the first asterisk means the value in this pointer, right? The value in this pointer. The second, the value in this pointer is the address of this. So the second asterisk is now saying, yes, the content, yes. Go to the content where this pointer is pointing to, right? So let's see the value of H now, the value of H2, the value of H2. Let's see the value of H2, the value of H2. Because the pointer is pointing last to H2. So let's see the value of H2. So the value of H2 now is what? Is 255, not 500. The initial value of H2 is 500, but now it's 255. Wow. So if we want another higher level of pointer, it will be int star star star, right? So we've been able to discuss about what? Pointers. Good. All right. So let me clear my chart, clear all my drawing. So now I want to just do a second lesson on pointers. Okay. So imagine I have a string um string of containing the songs I love playing. So just imagine. So I have a string of songs. Let me call this song playlist, and it's having an array of 4, right? And the content in those array is, let me say, song 1. So let me copy let me copy the song. So they are comma separated. That is to say, uh, the value will keep changing. Okay, some 2, some 3, comma, some 4. Then I'm done. So what I've actually done in essence is it's more like in my iPod. Just imagine in my iPod, I have songs I listen to. So the first is song 1, and it's an array, just an array, right? Of string. Okay, the second is song 2. So it can be Justin Bieber, it can be any song, it can be music, Christian music, of turmoil, it can be anything. So just imagine I have an array of songs, song 3, and the last is song 4. So the size can increase just using 4 variables, song 4. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to have a pointer of the same data type, like of a string. So let me, oh sorry, um, let me erase. Okay, all right. So let me say the name of the pointer is pointer1. Let me just say it's pointer1. So pointer1 is pointing to the first address of the array, right? So it means just imagine I'm playing this song first. Then if I'm done with this song, I can come to the next song and play. Maybe using the fast forward button, the next playlist, right? I can come to the next song. So it means my pointer is actually changing my pointer is actually changing the address of what? Of where it's pointing to, right? So it can move from song 3, move to song 4. What it's actually doing is it changing the address, right, of where it's pointing to. So it can actually display the content, right? So let's look at um how that is done. So let me create a pointer also of type string. So let's call it pointer1. And pointer1 is mapped to the address. So two things. I can do it this way. So with playlists coming. So pointer. Yes, this is how to create a pointer. You have to, it's mapped to what? It's mapped to playlist. Now, what this means is implicitly behind the scene, whenever you create an array, you also have a pointer pointing to the first index, that is to say index 0. So you have an array of playlist pointing to what? To the first. So you can do this, or to be more explicit, I can do this. I can do this, pointing to what? To the first index. Yes, this is. So it's pointing to this one because array is 0 index. So this has position of 0, followed by 1, followed by 2, followed by 3. Yes, it's 0 index. So there's whenever you create an array, it's pointing to the first index. You have a pointer automatically created, which is pointing to what? To the first index. All right, so let's move on. So with that now, I can actually display. I can actually display the contents of what? Of the pointer. So I can say, okay, where show me or display or write to the screen the content of what? Of pointer. Of pointer one. Yes, sorry, of pointer one. So let's see. Where is it pointing to? What's the content of where it's pointing to? So let's see the content of, yeah, you can see it's song one, right? Let me make it clear. End line. Okay, so you will see that it's pointing to what? It's pointing to song one. That's the content of that. So with pointer arithmetic now, for it to move um to the next song, I can actually do this. Yes. So the pointer one, sorry, I keep forgetting. Pointer one is pointing to the next song, right? So with that, so pointer one is pointing to the address of the next right? Is more like saying pointer one equals playlist one. So the address of playlist one, yeah, is equals to the address of playlist one. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. It's now pointing to the second, to the index one, really. So that's what it's doing. So with pointer arithmetic, it's now pointing to the next. So with that, I can now display, okay, let me display the content of what? Of pointer one. So you will see it will display song one, song two. Can you see it's pointing to the next song? So I can also increase, I can also come here and say, okay, pointer one plus 2 plus equal to 2 plus equal to 2 plus equals to 2. So what it's saying is already pointing to song 2. Now let it point to 2 steps ahead. Instead of pointing to song 3, it will point to song 4. So let's see the content of the pointer. Wow. So it's now pointing to what? Song 4. Now, what if I intend changing the content of what? Of, let's say, song 3. So I can actually do pointer arithmetic. It's already pointing to song 4. Let's say pointer 1. Oh, sorry. So it's pointing to, now it's pointing to song 3. So I can actually display the content of where it's pointing to. So I move back a step back. So it's now pointing to song 3. Can you see? So then since it's pointing to song 3, I can change the content of where it's pointing to. That is to say the content of song 3. So how do I do that? I can do this. I can say, okay, the song 3 will be praise God. Let's say song 3 is praise God, right? So song 3 now is praise God. The content of song 3 is what? Is praise God. Okay. So let's display. So instead of giving me song 3 now, song 3 has been changed to praise God. So that's one beautiful thing about what? About pointers. So with this discussion now, I have come to the end of pointers. We've been able to discuss that pointer is what? Is a variable whose value is the address of another variable. and say, okay, since the pointer is holding the address of another variable, it can get the content of that variable is pointing to, or it can actually write to that address. It can get the content in that address or write to that address. Yes. So, and also I've been able to discuss the pointers to pointers. Yes, you can have pointers, a pointer pointing to another pointer, right? You can actually also do pointer addition, arithmetic, and this is what I've done here. Pointer arithmetic. I've been able to use, addition of numbers to it. So pointer arithmetic will point to the next variable if you are increasing by 1, or jump 2 steps if you're increasing by 2. And the steps will be determined by the size of the data type, right? The number of bytes by the data type. So we've done a lot about pointers. So see you in the next class. All right.